You are listening to Accents, a radio show for literature, art, and culture. I'm your host, Katerina Stoikova, and my guest is poet Douglas Self. Hi, Doug, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Katerina. How are you?
I'm doing great. Very happy to have you. You and I have read each other poems for quite a few years now, but that's your first appearance on Accents, I think, right?
Yes, it is first.
Mhm. Douglas
And
Self.
thank you for that.
Douglas Self is a father, combat vet, poet, friend, and foe. Honestly, he just tries to do his best. Don't we all? So,
Yes. Yeah, I'm just,
what have you been writing these days, Doug?
oh, all kinds of stuff. Actually, not all kinds of stuff. That's a lie. But I mean, over the last few years, I've been writing about what's going on in my life. Not as much as I'd like, but divorce, PTSD, therapy, and depression, and all that fun stuff. And you know, and then I don't know. I haven't really written about it yet, but lately I'm just getting to the point where I see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and things are getting better. So I can't wait to start writing on that. Actually,
Well, you and I met in Lexington, where you lived and worked and wrote and was part of the literary community, and now you live in Illinois. How is Illinois treating you?
Illinois is treating me about as good as it can. This is where I'm originally from, so I'm staying with family right now during this quarantine, working up here. I'm grateful to be working during this period.
Yeah.
So I mean that's definitely a good thing, as I know a lot of people are not working due to due to the virus and everything. But I do have my sights set on returning to Lexington as soon as possible to be with my children. So I mean I'm having a good time up here in Illinois, but I love and miss Lexington. You know that's really my home.
Well, we miss you too, and we can't wait for you to get back. Meanwhile, would you read us some poems?
Yeah, I have mainly poems, but I do have a couple essay type things. Let's Here's an untitled piece. Uh, the astonishment in her eyes, the earth, the significance of the secret revealed, the atomic bomb. A husband, now I am become death, and the scientist, the destroyer of worlds. Two great nations, one retreats, and the other still doesn't know how to surrender. And here's one. Like I was saying, just a lot. You know, just really getting into therapy at the VA in Lexington and up here in Illinois, and I'm really just getting into depression and things of that nature. I guess it's a micro poem, but the title is "That Kurt Cobain Was Onto Something." You only have to apply a little pressure to relieve a lot. Um, Let me see here. Here's a poem. A couple of years ago, and I've done Lexington Poetry Month every year since its inception. And a couple of years ago, I just started making collage poems. From song lyrics and historical documents or religious texts, and sometimes also incorporating stuff from news articles. And so here's one that I used. It's from the King James version of the Bible, from Titus, chapter 1, verse 7, and from a Pantera song. I have some lyrics from the song "Throes of Rejection," and then it's also a New York Times article that I just thought they all kind of blended well together as a collage poem. So this one is also untitled. Um, it ain't, excuse me. It ain't a game. This is feeding victimized children to the steward of God. The cardinal whose sexual abuse conviction was overturned last month knew decades ago that if there really is a God, then it's the nauseating stab, the kind that's avoided federal criminal charges like salt poured into a deep infected wound. Some pretty girl with long hair. That sugar hole was negotiated for a bishop must be blameless, a government inquiry concluded. A sociopathic plan, a widely criticized plea deal given to filthy lucre. And excuse me, I have some more up that I need to get back up. I'm sorry, I have poems everywhere. They're on my. And then I apologize for the wait. I had these up and I don't know what happened to a couple of them. I think I
Don't worry,
accidentally.
Doug. It's all good. It's all good. Take your time to find them. I'm really enjoying them. Most of them I hadn't read before or heard before, so it's really nice to hear.
Yeah, that's so as I was looking around, I found how many different ways I write poetry. Like, so I have them all in the notes of my phone and just things I don't even remember writing. um, so here's one that's definitely written in the heart of my divorce. She said, "You don't look so sorry. Not once, not 1 ounce of remorse." She said, "You don't look so sorry. You're not even groveling." She said, "You don't look so sorry. Instead, you look relieved that you can do what you want. You just you told me just so I'd push you away, didn't you? Just sitting there, stone faced. Look at you. I don't believe you." She said, "You don't look so sorry, but you are sorry and miserable." As you know, I do. I'm a big fan of, uh, I guess, using the least amount of words possible sometimes to make a poem. This is one. It's just a lot of these are untitled. This is war is a form of time travel. Nothing is the same when you return. So this is one. It's kind of the other side, flip side of the coin. You hear a lot of people saying thank you for your service to military veterans, and for some of us, it's I don't know. But the poem should say it all. They'd say thank you for your service, and it felt good. I was proud. I'd puff my chest out. They'd say thank you for your service. Then I went to war. I went to war. I went to war. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Please shut up. Get away from me, enemy. It wasn't too long that thank you for your service turned into why do you drink so much? What's wrong with you? Thank you for your service ain't so much fun once the effects of the service come undone. I went to war. I went to war. You're in my personal space. I went to war. I went to war. I don't remember your face. Thank you for your service from your lips is the extent of your devotion. And I can't read the rest of it because it's got cuss words. So I'm sorry. I should have read it. Here's one about a dream. In a dreams, in a dream, Claire Danes painted mime white, just the white, a mark near her chin, disappears into thin air. Come up for air. Children gather, their souls have been bound. The parents remain silent out of fear. For what's out there, it's worth a stare, but beware. There's only one thing to know to keep the ducks in a row. There's something in the park. There's something in the woods. There's something in the dark, lurking just past memory's thoughts. Just keep moving on. Eyes front you never saw. There's something in the woods, burning children down. There's something in the park, turning children around. There's something in the dark. Don't look, because that's how it starts. Um, Here's another poem. I think this is probably pretty fitting for almost every man out there. It's also another really short poem. It's called Unfit for Power. There's an impeachment proceeding going on in my pants. uh, this poem is entitled Everybody's Sane. Everybody's saying, no, no, no. Everybody's playing games. Everybody's saying, no, 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 no. Everybody's taking names. Everybody's strain. No, no, no. Everybody pains the same. Everybody's saying, no, no, no. Everybody's death is today. Let's see. There's one more that I want to read. It is I've recently been reading The Slaughterhouse Five by Kurt Vonnegut, which I never realized was a book about war, and it's a very strange book. But I did write an essay, a short essay type thing on that, if I can find it. There it is. I haven't written in a while, but that's a lie. I wrote yesterday. The first chapter of Slaughterhouse Five is fresh in my mind, and it should be since I just put the book down on my nightstand. Vonnegut's slaughter, the Dresden raid, he traces the meat and blood of it, stands at the periphery not wanting to dive in, coherent snippets coupled with literary oddities. I get it, meaning I understand his mindset while wanting to write without actually writing, attempting to write and then writing. If one enjoys writing war, then that person has one, never been to war, or two, enjoyed war. Authors to be damned for sure. I endured no slaughter during my war. No horrific citywide air raids rained down on us, although mortars were fired on us daily, earning us the nickname Mortaritaville. Wonder if there'd ever be any more wars if both sides hurled full bottles of liquor towards each other instead of death. Shrieking soon to be corpses instead hurl toasts and salute while finding themselves too hungover in the morning to hold grudges or listen to nationalistic propaganda. Sure, the occasional scuffle will be danced as boys will be boys, but harmony remains intact. Destruction breeds creation. Creation wills destruction. Um, Bleep them both, I want to say. Who needs them? I don't, but I do. I mean, I used to be a sperm until the sperm became a kamikaze pilot running headfirst into an egg, rendering itself no longer a sperm, thus destroying its short lived life as an individual sperm while creating the new life of a sperm eating its way into the egg. But it wasn't the only sperm competing. The egg itself was created in the ovaries, then fell into the uterus, waiting to be destroyed back into a newly created thing. The egg itself now has multiple sperms trying to reach the center to hoist the medallion of fertilization, effectively destroying the other sperm. There is no second place when it comes to creation and destruction. In doing so, a new thing is created, an embryo, a child. As the child grows, so it will destroy. A child will also create more smiles on the face of an adoring parent than it will ever destroy. If a god wields any weapon at all, it must be irony. How it must have felt to the local Iraqis when the green dragon of the US military appeared upon their doorstep, destroying ancient artifacts, creating new ways to belittle and besmirch their culture and God. Over time, the green dragon grew armored scales, clogged up the streets, making it impossible to arrive anywhere on time. And make no mistake that the dragon would breathe fire upon any impatient infidel weaving in and out of traffic. I mean, we Americans can't even make it through a few months in quarantine without whining about missing prom or being told to stay home or wear masks, yet we spit in the face of global cultures, customs, and treaties without provocation. Imagine America. Imagine foreign tanks rolling through our streets. Imagine the sounds of foreign soldiers' boots thudding on our streets. Imagine your savior defiled and deregulated. History's halls are riddled with the stories of complacent champions. Just ask Mike Tyson after meeting Buster Douglas. Like Vonnegut, I stand wearily at the periphery of my horror, not wanting to enter, but I'm damn sure willing to push you in. And I think that's about all I have today.
These are great, Doug. Thank you so much for sharing. I enjoyed the poems and I enjoyed the essay. And when I listen to them again, I want to pull a few quotes for epigraphs, especially from the essay, um, and from the poems too. Like Kurt Cobain had the right idea, right? And a few quotes about the creation and destruction that really I want to use somewhere. So, did you sign up for Lexington Poetry Month this year?
Yes, I've been doing it every year since it started, but there's been years where I'm just like, I'm not doing it this year, and I just can't bring myself not to do it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I signed up. I have never been able to do 30 poems, but right now, while you were reading, I got an idea of a project that I can try to do for 30 days. So basically that would give me the structure. So thank you very much for giving me that idea. Are you going to be working on do you know what you're going to be working on, or you're just going to wait to see what emerges?
I have an idea. I mean, I think I'm gonna continue with the collage poem idea. But I don't know. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, sometimes like on a daily basis, when you mean to write one thing, another thing appears,
Yeah,
and
and
you
yeah,
know, and
and
so
you're not going to send it back. You're just going to write it if it comes.
yeah, I've been trying to hold myself more accountable on a daily basis about writing, and when something pops up to not avoid it.
Yeah,
Um, it's just really, I mean, I have the word poet tattooed on my or the on my fingers,
show us,
because
show
but
us.
it oh yeah,
Yeah,
but really, and some people think that's kind of funny, but or silly, but I mean, poetry saved my life at a time when I was so depressed I didn't know what was going on, and I started writing some really hardcore personal military poems and realized I needed to go to the VA and get some help. um, you know But it's funny. I also enjoy other genres of writing. Like, I mean, I really get into writing about like scripts for TV shows and stuff like that. Just or monologues. You know, I really. It's funny. I allow myself to like that. I think I'm pretty good with dialogue, and I allow myself to be good at dialogue. But with poetry, I'm so hard on myself. It's like I think it's like poetry is like the oldest child that I hold more responsible than like than the youngest child, where the youngest child has a little bit more freedom. I'm just so much more harder on myself as a poet and my poetry than I am my other forms of writing. And so I'm really just trying to like, because for a while I wasn't writing at all, so now I'm just like trying to write a bunch of different stuff instead of just poetry, but also to allow myself to just be a writer and have fun with it instead of just being so dang serious about it all the time.
Well, I will speak for myself when I said I appreciate all your writing, and I thank you for coming on to Accents and reading your poems, your essay, and telling us a little more about yourself. Thank you, Doug, and good luck with Lexington Poetry Month. And we'll wait
Awesome.
to see you again in Lexington.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.